How do we exercise our office? How do we make use of the position that we have been given? And so today, the Lord invites us to reflect on what kind of attitude, what kind of perspective we should have with regards to the way we exercise our position in influencing the lives of people. You know, when we are put in authority, when we are put in position, we must remember that those of us who are in authority or in position of influence, we have tremendous impact on those lives that are being influenced by us, or those that we are called to guide, those that we are called to lead. And therefore, there are certain things that we have to remember with respect to how this authority is being exercised. And what is important for us is that when we exercise authority, when we are put in positions of influence, there is always this temptation to hypocrisy because of fear, because of the lack of sincere intention in what we do. And this is very important because for those of us in authority, in positions of influence, we can become legalistic in the way we exercise our authority. Because we are people of authority, we want rules to be obeyed. This is the danger. Legalism might get people to do things, but it might not change hearts. It might not change lives. And this is true, especially in our churches, organizations. We need to know how to be flexible in applying the rules that we have established. As Jesus in the gospel makes it clear, rules are made for men, not meant for the rules. And therefore, legalism is something that those of us who have authority must be careful. That we don't just implement rules blindly without trying to understand whether the rules are really serving the people, serving the intention that we seek. Secondly, there is also the temptation of trying to impress. Is it wrong to express our love, our fervor for God in devotions, in piety, kneeling, prostrating? Is it wrong? Of course it's not wrong. But again, it is what we intend to do. Is it just to put up a show? Is it to impress, or really to influence lives? And I think it's very important because even piety, it is nothing wrong. In fact, it's good sometimes to see some people praying, some people having devotion, because it can inspire faith. So it's not wrong. In fact, we need signs, we need people to show us the way of piety. If we are focused on God, you don't care what people say, what people think, because your relationship is with God. But if we are more careful, more worried about what people say, what people are thinking about us, then of course we are creating an impression. We are not really trying to express our love, our devotion to God. So external piety can be helpful, but it can be destructive of us when there is a lack of sincerity. Then, of course, as leaders in authority, we also need to be very careful that we need to practice what we teach. It doesn't mean to say, therefore, that if we have not fully practiced what is required of us, we cannot teach. But I think it's important for us to know that that is the goal, and to practice what we teach is our sincerity, that we are struggling to be faithful to the gospel, to be faithful to the teaching of Christ. And if we are struggling and we help people to know that we ourselves are struggling against temptations, trying to live the gospel life, then we have the authority to teach. But if we are teaching without any sincere intention to live our life according to what we are teaching, and that is lack of sincerity. So again, it's very important. Sometimes when we formulate rules, you have to be sure that you yourself should be able to live out those rules. If you cannot, difficult to tell others to do so. But at the same time, we need to be compassionate. We need to be understanding. We know that people are struggling. One of the temptations of leadership, and for those of us in authority and position of influence, is that we tend to use our position to seek honor for ourselves. Again, I think it's important to see things in perspective. If we are seeking honor for ourselves, then of course this would be self-destructive. But there are certain things that we need to do, not so much as signs of honor for ourselves, but I think as means by which we want to transmit a message. They are symbols. So in every organization, every community, we will have symbols that are used. So why do we have all these symbols? In every organization, we have ceremonies. It's to increase the solemnity, to stress the sacredness of an event. But it's not about bringing honor to a particular person as such, but also as a reminder. So in the question of authority and position, also it's very important that we have to be very careful also. These places of honor, yes, again, because of the position we hold, again, it's not about me, it's about my office. It's about the organization I'm representing. It's about the importance of the organization to the one who invites us. It's to stress the importance of the organization in the context, for example, if the government is inviting in the context of society, how important that organization is in the way it will impact society. So I'm given that honor not as a person, because of my office. And it's important for us to remember this. Make a distinction between your office and your person. It's two different things. So it's important for us to know our position. Or sometimes we get big-headed. Even as a cardinal, I'm not representing myself. It's not because of me. As a cardinal, I'm representing the church. As an archbishop, I'm representing the people, all the Catholics. It's not about me. It's about the people. I think it's very important for us to remember this. And that's why we should never use our office for our selfish purpose. We have to be very careful. We cannot abuse the office for our own interest. If it's a service, it's a service. We have to make a distinction between your office and what are the privileges people give to you. So that's why I'm very careful, even as a bishop, not to use the office for my own personal interest. You cannot use your office, for example, to enrich yourself. You cannot use the office, to buy people over. In other words, everything must be for the glory of God. First principle. Everything we do, is it for the glory of God? Not about ourselves. Second principle. Is it for the service of our brothers and sisters? We are all brothers and sisters. We are all equal before God. But we hold different position, different office, because we have different functions to fulfill. Not because we are greater than a person. So don't ever think that because you are in a position, you are greater than someone who has no position. No. It is the office that we hold. And the office is given by God. The charism is given by God. So in the eyes of God, we are all equal. So it's the office. And so I think it's important for us. Therefore, we ask ourselves, is that office being used for the service of the common good? And if that is so, then indeed we are truly the servants of God.